same bans they did have in the first game, and no adaptation yet for C9. Siva and Karma banned away, and there's the Gnar, so C9 respecting the power of the top lane.
Right now, with the Gnar out of the picture, Vladimir was the previous ban. It may be something that EnVy want to go towards. They can flex pick the Vladimir, but
wow, they first picked Jhin.
That's really insane. They must think that Sneaky really wants to play that Jhin. They take it away when you could first pick the RekSai. Right now, you probably may have given over RekSai and Vladimir, and then possibility of an Ekko being picked up as well for C9 on the last pick, because we saw EnVy counterpick the Ekko with a Kassadin, so you'd probably want to save your top laner for later. But they do also value this Braum takeaway from Hakuho.
To maybe break up the Jhin lane as well. And I kind of understand it. Jhin is a great champion. Sneaky is a very good Jhin player, but certainly seems like there's a wide open Vladimir-shaped hole in the draft. We'll see if Cloud9 do take the pick there and look to right that potential run, or if they maybe have something else in mind and happy to pick it later here. Certainly no rush to get to the Vlad, but there's the Braum and there's the RekSai for Cloud9. Strong picks with the first pick Jhin takeaway.
Very calm here from Cloud9. They are showing nothing to their opponents right now. Picking very standard, taking a takeaway. And EnVy, that may have been their plan, is show us a little bit of your hand and then we'll counter. And if that's what's actually happening here, you pick jungle support for EnVy and you save your solo laners. So the things that are high priority, they may think they're not high priority enough, like a gangplank, that it warrants you first picking it.
Well, 30 seconds now for EnVy to decide what direction they want this draft to go in. Procxin gonna flash us a couple different champions. We'll see where he does settle eventually. Kind of expecting Procxin at one point to just, you know, kick it back, Gravely Sin, just get aggressive. We know how effective he can be playing really up in your face from the jungle. But EnVy, I think, settling somewhere different actually with these next few picks. We'll see if they lock them in. 5 seconds left to decide if Morgana Ekko is what they want, and it is.
Cool. I actually think that's really interesting because this Ekko was played by Ninja previously. It also pinches the top lane champion pool even more, so there have been 4 top laners taken away. So Impact is going to have to dig a little bit deeper. The Trundle still on the table, the Aurelia also up there. And the Maokai, maybe Impact returns to that, but different type of effect on the game than what he has had during playoffs, where he's been a force to be reckoned with.
Certainly no obvious power pick here for Impact, so we'll see where Cloud9 do go with their draft here. Maybe they give him the counter pick, maybe they want mid lane to have that, so 20 seconds for them to decide kind of what they want to do with this draft, and maybe the teams without Siva and Karma are just going to ignore Vladimir. That's the other thing that we maybe don't realize, and like Cloud9 do, is that, okay, if we ban these away, well, it's maybe not as good. Could still go here to Cloud9, but we'll have to find out shortly, as I imagine Sneaky's going to Ashe, he will, and Jensen looks like he's going to go to Cassiopeia here.
Yeah, probably the most optimal thing to do would be, like, if you can play Kassadin both top and mid, you pick it now, so wherever the Ekko goes, you throw that against it, and then you get a counter pick against what EnVy has as their last pick. But Jensen is completely comfortable picking this Cassiopeia, especially when he has a team composition with somebody who can block a lot of damage coming towards him with the Braum, and has another frontliner in that RekSai, and an AD carry that helps him peel and kite backwards.
I like it. C9 definitely putting together another good-looking team fight comp here, but they will save that counter pick for top laner Impact, who I guess deserves it after his Game 1 performance. EnVy, though, do need to finish their draft. See what Miracle, got a big hearty smile on his face right now, has in store for his team. EnVy's drafts are a force of nature, and Procxin's smiling, so I feel like something tricky might be going on here.
I actually had never noticed he has a hand tattoo.
Not tricky yet. And there's Varus and Gragas. Okay.
Okay. The Varus into the Cassiopeia, and that's an Ekko top lane now. So the Varus into Cassiopeia. All right, maybe it's a Chalice build. We saw a Chalice ending up being built in the international wildcard as an AD carry against a Kog'Maw because it did AP damage, had some magic resistance on it. You
get a lot of mana.
Yeah. The thing is Manamune has a long charge up time. It's more mid game focused. If you can just dump a little bit of gold into the Chalice, hold on to that, maybe you could bypass it. We'll see if it happens.
But we got 20 seconds now for Cloud9 to pick their top laner. As I guess nothing. I'm surprised actually. For an EnVy draft, this is very tame. And oh, he did it! Impact's going to Yasuo.
Oh man. Okay, so Pastry, tell me about Yasuo.
He's really great. I love him. He's a fun champion. As far as this matchup goes, though, I mean, it actually depends where he goes. is decent into Varus as well. We'll see exactly where Cloud9 want to put their picks here, but I imagine it does go to Impact, and if it is Yasuo versus Ekko, this is a very interesting matchup. I've only seen it a couple times, most notably mid lane. It was played in a very famous 1v1 with Rookie and Godby from the LPO going nuts at each other, and there is an immense amount of stuff happening in that matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely insane. Also, the Varus, need to correct myself, there was LMS, it was Machi that did that. Yeah, I was like, wait, there was so much League of Legends yesterday. Europe, LMS, wildcard, NA, but that's what matters right now, North America.
Hard to keep track in the Gauntlet with Worlds on the horizon now, but teams are locked in for game number 2. It is Yasuo top, so Impact going to be sticking to the carry roots that he really was known for originally. He's been showing up so far in playoffs. They ban away all these champions, like, fine, give me the Yasuo, I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah, that's the thing. You made him dig really deep for that champion. I want to see what he's able to do, because this is not tank Impact. Everybody's like, they should put him on carries. They're misusing him. Well, here we go.
Yeah, I guess the crowd got what they want. Keep the hashtags rolling in, though. Hashtag Envy if you think they can dig deep into their pockets and pull out a win and even up the series, or of Cloud9. And they're I guess they have a ton of momentum going in a Gauntlet. Cloud9 move fastest whenever they're in this situation. Certainly they're going to carry a lot of that momentum into this game number 2, and we'll see what impact star of game 1 has on, of all champions, a Yasuo.
Yeah, and as Seraph, you have to go up against this guy that has beaten you in lane almost every single time you have played him. And not only has he beaten you, he has set a record for how many deaths you have had in a single game, solo killed you multiple times in a matchup that you should be winning. And it just seems like Impact makes Seraph nervous just by being Impact. The way he played that Kennen matchup, you wouldn't dive those minions if you were of a sound mind. And it just seems like he was really nervous. I feel like Impact is a hero to him. Like, when Seraph came over here for CLG, Impact had just won the World Championship, and he was somebody he had looked up to in Korea when he was aspiring to be a professional player, and now he's across the rift from him. I'd be nervous too.
Yeah, of course, but you have to put that behind you. Seraph needs to be here for his team in a very crucial time. As a bit of a poke in from Envy, we'll get some vision onto the red buff, but nothing super surprising. Procxin and Seraph do their scouting report, do find the information they expect. And Smoothie, it's a binding. First skill shot and a bit of extra money there from Hakuho does go over. Already winning bottom lane.
Yeah, and if this bottom lane with the Morgana can end up getting a binding into a Jhin binding, it's a lot of damage that you cannot return. You have to kind of stand there and take it. And it'll chip away at Smoothie over time, but we really don't see a lot of people playing Morgana, except for Hakuho. Afromu will play it every now and then, but this really seems to be a pick that he enjoys. He enjoys those CC champions with long range. It's usually Braum or the Morgana.
From memory, the Envy's cleanest looking game yesterday was actually a Morgana game from Hakuho there in the bottom lane. So we'll see how they match up. Sneaky and Smoothie, though, back to what they know.
Yeah, exactly. The Braum and the Ashe here shoving the wave up, making sure they get level 2 first on their support. But with a range support, you get a little bit more damage onto those minions.
Gotta be careful. Yeah, everyone can tell the last defense of that little minion.
Yeah, it's the next one in the wave because they didn't get to start on their camps. They ended up stopping it with that ward that's at the Gromp right now that you see from Envy. So, this is one right here. Gonna get when they get those melees down.
Bit of damage there. Very nice actually on Taliyah. Gets that crit bullet down onto Sneaky, and that will give them control of the wave. Level 2 in. There's the binding. They nail Sneaky with it. Log gonna move back in. He wants more. He really wants to go deep, but has to respect Smoothie and his passive. We'll just retake control of the lane.
And I want to pay attention to Hakuho's positioning in the Fog of War in this game, because that's what I've been really impressed by on his Morgana, is the fact that he always has a good idea of what the enemy is expecting, what they aren't expecting. He throws out the pool on the left side, and he throws the binding to the right. Normally, you want to throw your binding at where you threw your pool, to get the people who are in it to take your pool damage. Instead of that, throws it off to the right, catches Sneaky.
Well, love this from Smoothie. He's actually camping around. They expect Procxin maybe to challenge for this blue buff. Now he's going to get tagged up. That'll force him out, Smoothie. Great job protecting this buff from Jensen. And he will get another early blue. We saw this time and time again from Meteos and Jensen, especially with the Cassiopeia.
And that's why RekSai is the most picked or banned champion on 615. It's just super powerful. Sure, sometimes you want the Gragas for the team fighting. Those are the 2 S tiers. But you also give your mid laner an advantage if they are a mana-based champion.
And checking with our final lane, we saw a little bit of it before, but Impact up a level right now, up pretty healthily on CS, and He's got an isolated 1v1 here, which, with the way he's been playing, is exactly what he wants. You can see where Ekko can start to struggle. He just does not have the mobility that Yasuo has.
Ooh. Yeah, and the fact that Yasuo can actually get rid of the Time Winder with the Wind Wall makes this matchup very difficult for the Ekko, unless you have kind of great outplay potential. But if Seraph is not on his game today and he's a little bit nervous against Impact, then yeah, I expect some mistakes to be made in that top lane. But if he can get it together, maybe get some confidence back, get some attention from Procxin, he can turn the matchup around.
Yep, definitely a tight matchup, but Impact should have initiative at least in the 1v1, so we'll keep track of it as it pushes in. Gonna dance out again to the parallel convergence. Doesn't get himself stunned, actually pops the wind wall in there to be a bit extra safe. You can see Seraph getting what farm he can with the Time Winder, but Impact gonna keep doing what he's doing here 1v1. Sneaky and Smoothie again, under a bit of fire, but keeping the lane nice and even after that initial advantage Lod and Hakuho got in the 2v2. In fact, Smoothie's going in for a tag. Bit of damage down, needs a stun. Sneaky gonna land it. Great shield there from Hakuho.
Yeah, and this is what the problem is with Morgana support, is the mana. He runs out of mana quite quickly if you're using your pool to actually deal damage and try to harass and get your Spell Thieves procs off. And now, no Black Shield available.
Another block again. Sneaky actually back in onto Lod. Damage is good. Volley. It's a nice little bit of trade damage there from Sneaky. It's been a really fun 2v2 to watch.
Yeah, it's very brawly back and forth. Everybody's just looking for that small advantage over the other in this bottom lane. And the game has become kind of bottom lane focused, not because AD carries are incredibly important. Sorry, AD carries.
Rip.
But because people are taking teleport, and that's the big roaming place, is to go through that bottom lane.
Hey, man. Why gank one lane? I can gank this one and get 2 kills.
Yeah.
Value.
Yep. Get 2 kills. Dragon's on that side. Rift Herald takes so long to do early game that why would you do it when you could take a turret and get first turret gold? Well, people have kind of figured that out, and Procxin on this side of the map.
Level 5, so not quite ready with the ultimate, but not seen just yet. Sneaky and Smoothie may have an idea. Oh, good little pull there. Gonna combo into the stun. Smoothie gonna eat that next one. Procxin is here, but that's not enough distance.
Yeah.
And Smoothie able to get out pretty easily there.
Yeah, at that point, you might want to sneak in to the bush,
Ooh.
the lane, and oh,
Bad news, Bears? No, we're okay.
yeah,
Nice.
they don't know where RekSai is.
Top lane is the answer, but we can see that. Of course, they don't know. Lod, I don't think, had a snare either, so couldn't quite follow up with additional CC. As it stands, Sneaky is actually kind of letting the wave push in. We'll see how much CS he catches under this tower. But Procxin is going to leave them alone for a little while longer. Smoothie has been on point with the Unbreakables, trying to stop what damage he can. And sure, EnVy have some advantage here in this lane, but Sneaky and Smoothie should be able to keep it afloat. And that's kind of all they need to do right now. Yeah, these bindings have been on point. Whew. Sneaky can continue eating some damage. Hakuho really showing how much comfort he has on this champion.
Yeah, and the fact that he also has Ignite on top of that, it just gives him a lot of kill pressure. So the comfort on this champion, if he can turn it into an advantage, like an actual hard advantage besides the CS, then that would be a huge boon for EnVy.
Procxin looking again, but there is a ward there.
Yeah.
He's going to see it, so now he'll clear that out. Sneaky going to have to show respect as Meteos tunnels his way to the other side of the jungle. EnVy just going to try and force them off here as Sneaky takes damage.
And this is quite an advantage here. Seraph,
Oh,
though, on
here
the
we
top
go.
side. Level 6s.
Could be fun. Impact finds a creep wave to catch. Parallel convergence is down. Impact going to hold on to that little tornado. Does not take it one step further.
Yeah, this is just a fun matchup when everybody starts building damage. I think it'll be more towards tank, but let's see here. And Binding Land.
Oh,
Procxin,
straight to the face. Good block
he
there.
went in.
Procxin's in. He wants the first blood. Trying to test nobody gets snared. Lod flashes in, but Meteos will get first blood credit. And now the teleport's coming down. Ultimate there from Varus, actually, as Ninja's roamed his way down. Will keep them down and away. But Hakuho went down to the turret. Jensen going to catch Lod here, and that one's pear-shaped for EnVy.
And that's Jensen picking up a kill for himself. Bad news for EnVy. And Ninja in that mid lane having to blow his flash. That gives Jensen a ton of kill pressure in this lane. And look at this! Oh!
Found another, perhaps? Jensen does slow him down, but they're just going to force him off the red buff. No vision, so no need to chase there for Cloud9. Ooh, good attempt. Does snipe it, actually. Ninja hitting himself a buff is... You can see a big smile on his face as well on the player cam.
Yeah, Varus has a lot of great angles that he can actually do that from. You can actually snipe the red buff from the Dragon Pit and take it away, but he gets it from good distance away where you're just not expecting that.
Potential dive lined up. Jensen does have some Zen Flash. But Meteos just going to take the Raptor camp down instead, continuing to keep tabs on Procxin. Good little answer there from Cloud. That's awkward. Waiting for a smite. Ready for your smite.
It happens to the best of us. It really does.
Happens to me too. What does that tell you?
To the worst of us.
Thank you. Meteos going to take down the camp. Just smite it away, so I guess get some additional value there, but a little awkward looking. As Procxin actually taking his red buff away. EnVy going to look for both red buffs, but Impact's found him. And now Procxin's going to have to get creative with his back positionings, find a nice little brush to get back into. And Cloud9 not going to leave him alone, though.
Yep.
Crayseeker. Oh, he's not okay. He's not even close. Gets knocked up immediately by the ultimate after the knockup from Meteos. And there's another kill. 2-0-1 now for the RekSai.
Yeah, and even went with a Jarm's Fist early on. That's a build that we've been seeing more and more just for the HP early, and it builds into that Titanic. So he's going to go towards that, and he ends up getting his own red buff here. You know, Ninja sniped the other one away. So Meteos ends up getting his own and a kill on top of it. Procxin, I mean, it has not been his gauntlet at all. The regional qualifiers, he's been looking really shaky. He was one of the strengths of the team, being able to heavy farm and gank, and he seemed to have good map awareness near the end of the split. And it's kind of like, well, they need to play around Procxin more. Now, he's 2 levels down. He had so many deaths yesterday. He had like a game where he started off with 4 deaths. And this is a game that's looking a little bit similar already.
Certainly is. Meteos has had a great playoff/gauntlet showing as well. But there is good news in the bottom lane for EnVy, who are up healthily in CS here, 20 and counting, as the bindings keep on coming. Smoothie tagged up as well. Do they all in? They don't just yet. But EnVy kind of holding control of this 2v2 right now, and mid lane's pretty even. Top lane going Impact's way as well, but EnVy might be happy to split the lanes and take what advantage they can get. And if Meteos is the only difference, your point about Procxin may be even more correct here.
Yep, they spot out Meteos, so they get to actually go aggressive on the bottom side of this map after they get the blue.
Sneaky nailed
nice
again,
hit.
but a nice arrow. Actually, it's black shielded off. Smoothie moves in to save him, disrupts the ultimate there from low with the Braum ulti himself. Really well played by Smoothie under pressure to make sure nothing went crazy. Top lane fight dissipated as well. So it's just a smite battle. Who's going to win it? Procxin going to get knocked up here. Does claim the Scuttle Crab. But Jensen's down here as well. Smoothie also looking for a tag. Meteos wants it. Not going to chase in. Procxin body slams his way out to safety over the back of the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, and because Procxin is 2 levels down, even after getting a couple camps there, that is really big because he could have helped out that bottom lane. That could have been maybe 2 kills and a turret going the way of EnVy, but he wanted the blue buff. He needed it because he's so far behind, and he saw that Meteos was topside because he was clearing out a ward, and Procxin's waiting.
They're actually going in for it, but Meteos is just too large right now. Almost takes out the jungler solo. As EnVy's dual lane doesn't have enough health. Another binding Smoothie. Get the door up, and he's been ignited. That should be enough for a kill. And Morgana's going to claim it.
And that's the kill over to Hakuho. It ends up being worth there. Sneaky had heal, but was like, I don't know if it's going to save you, and saves the summoner spell instead.
In fact, actually back roaming into that mid lane. Does have his ultimate. I was looking for. But looks like Nidalee's going to just play it back nice and safe there on the Varus. So not much of a threat there. Impact, though, once again, roaming between the lanes, trying to see if he can find an advantage in a different lane. Seraph, in the meantime, has caught up as far as the total CS goes. But Impact will return to catch the wave and kind of continue strong arming this lane, although it seems to have bounced out kind of relatively well between the 2 top laners now.
Yeah, and the Yasuo close to that frozen mallet. Whereas on the opposite side, Seraph, it isn't going to be the Trinity Force build, because it looks like it's going to be the older build. You don't get Glacial Shroud unless you're going for the Iceborne Gauntlet, which would take the place of Trinity Force in the build.
Yeah, much tankier here for the early Ekko build at least. And I think both these top lane champions actually going for maybe a build you wouldn't expect as much. This Yasuo build has been very popular on ladder, I know.
Yeah, it's Trinity Mallet, and we'll see.
Find out. No crit's a little weird, but we'll keep moving in for it. Impact going to get stunned. No, he doesn't. Weaves his way just out from under the parallel convergence. Impact, just some poke there, but Seraph more than safe with his ultimate ready.
He just gets to go through all of the minions, back and forth. Well, Impact hasn't had, you know, that same solo kill performance, but that's usually what you expect here if Seraph's playing it safe.
Well, we'll see how this moves as Procxin once again kind of paying attention down towards that bottom half of the map, but he's woefully behind in CS at this point. Experience is 2 levels down for Meteos, almost level 10 actually for the RekSai, so they'll just try and take this Drake away.
And that's the big thing, is that they just don't have jungle pressure on EnVy's side. Procxin down 2 levels. Meteos has just been farming incredibly well, and every single time he can, he goes in and takes the Raptors because he knows that Jensen will have kill pressure onto Ninja and have pressure in that lane. Jensen did take the cleanse pretty much for the sole reason of getting rid of the chain of corruption on him if he gets hit by it in lane. It'll also help with the binding later if he does get locked up by it, but this is usually what you take that summoner spell for in this matchup.
Yep, nice and safe choice there for Jensen, who has been farming happily next to Ninja here. So they've actually both just been farming up nicely. Jensen did have that one little roam, and he's been quite active, pushing the lane out and trying to find more ways in for his team. Cloud9 up still here, 14 minutes in, but it's only 1,000 gold, so EnVy have done a much better job containing Cloud9 in this early game, but Cloud9 have certainly been playing the map quite well, and we'll see if they can open up more advantages or if we get to a nice even mid-game, and at that point, be very curious to see what happens, particularly with Lod having a nice advantage in his lane as well.
He's got CS advantage. That bottom lane turret is pretty much a Jhin crit shot away from dying. It's very low, and that would be the first turret gold, so you have to kind of hug this turret, make sure that it doesn't get completely shut down, or you give it up.
Not going to give it up just yet here. Nice little wave clear there from Sneaky and Smoothie. No runins yet, but has enough with the Zeal and the BF sword.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why they don't just push up, there's that ward in this second bush that EnVy are respecting because it would teleport behind them. It's one that's I think it just, did it expire? Yeah, it just expired. It was in the second brush, the brush that's on the side of EnVy's. Oh,
we're at it again. Seraph trying to juke around here. He's actually got a slight level lead as Impact going to get tagged once more by Time Winder. Tornado just going to look for a couple creeps here. Seraph starting to get some ground here with the Sheen built up early. Impact does have his Frozen Mallet, but Ekko's ever caught in a long lane. He's going to find himself in some trouble, but Kassadin and Dying keeping him healthy. He's able to kind of out-sustain the dueling potential right now, at least. Impact, though, pretty tanky. And this is, again, such a strange build if you haven't seen it before. You kind of just turn into a bruiser with Frozen Mallet Trinity Force. Zirene is quickly doing some investigation work.
I was just making sure. I was like, yes, Ekko has the Grasp the Undying, and Impact has Fervor, which is just a lot of his damage. Making sure that he didn't have Grasp. It was the old one, but usually Echoes are taking Fervor now, but it's just a kind of an outdated, older build here. But it's not as relevant as what's going on right now. This bottom side of the map, Procxin, level 9, he's back in this game. And just trying to get this turret down. This is the power point for EnVy. This is where they want to push this lane down and get that turret.
And it's kind of starting to turn into a sore spot as well, because like the longer that turret stays up and Cloud9 can get farmed safely, the better it is for them. As Jensen tacked in again, that Q's gonna land, doesn't cleanse out of the ultimate, knows he's safe.
It forces him back though. This means that Procxin gets his jungle. Meteos, if he invades, then he might be a dead duck.
Maybe. Sneaky does have arrow, and Smoothie is applying a lot of pressure just by standing forward in that brush with no additional vision from EnVy.
Actually, Jensen's not backing. Jensen's sticking around, and that's going to be a flank from Meteos.
A little greedy, but it might actually convert nicely. Jensen looking for a good ultimate as Seraph's down here as well. Meteos going to be forced to back away as Ninja going to keep throwing poke. That one's not going to hit Jensen. He slithers away from it, but it's getting really precarious in some of these lanes.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see how Ninja ends up continuing to play this Varus, because this was a champion that he got player of the game on and was able to actually win a whole bunch of Varus games during the split.
Well, they want it really bad. Actually, arrow's gonna land here, but it just get flashed out of the way. Smoothie blocked up under the turret as Hakuho churns in the ulti. Does land in as Hakuho is able to get the kill with the ignite, and C9's all in, goes awry.
And here comes Seraph onto Meteos, ended up teleporting down.
Meteos is very strong though, forces Seraph out of the way with his... Actually, just a Cinderhawk and a Durham's Fist.
Yeah, it's still... RekSai is one of the highest base armors in the game, so she just scales up incredibly quick.
Oh, that's annoying. Back cancel there, but Hakuho might lead into a death here if Meteos wants to chase in for it. He does, looks for it again, but Jensen now ultied out. Great alley-oop there as Seraph's here to answer, and Ninja able to claim himself a kill, and Meteos did not get his prey.
Oh, he really wanted Hakuho there so low, but the turret is what matters. At the end of the day, if you can end up getting it before the enemy does, Seraph has to go top. He can't go bottom right now. The push is on in the bottom side of the map, but it's also on in the middle.
Well, okay, a bit of a race here actually in three different lanes. Ninja also got some AD. Procxin going to help him down. Where's the first turret going to go over to? They're looking for this top mid lane turret.
He stopped autoing. Oh. Oh my god, he wanted to give the solo gold over to Ninja, and he ended up having the turret go down on the bottom side of the map just a little bit sooner. So first turret gold does go to Cloud9.
And they get a second turret as well. So 2-1 up now in turrets. Cloud9 with the overall advantage in the map trade.
I don't think I've ever gotten that excited over a turret kill.
Well, this was great from Procxin.
Yeah, great from Jensen as well with the flash, but because he knows he doesn't have the flash, he lands the first barrel, gets the slow, so Jensen ends up getting picked off there. I don't even know if Seraph gets an assist off of that, because it looked like the phase dive got canceled.
I don't think he did. Feels bad. And the Impact returns to top lane with a Phantom Dancer, so definitely a bit more split pushing as he glides through the minions.
Yep, this build is very good in one-on-ones, and then when you get the Trinity Force, you're sitting at a really hefty amount of crit for yourself, and also good tanky durability to get that Fervor of Battle stacked up.
Yep, nice and sticky. Defers him out. There's Hakuho again, gonna eat an arrow. No Black Shield there to save him. Does use the ultimate, gonna get knocked back up, and there's a kill for Sneaky. Easy as you like. Cloud9 kind of picking up the pace again here. 2,000 gold ahead.
And Hakuho used the Black Shield when he was in the bush, so they immediately take advantage of that. Cloud9 throw out the arrow, and they use Summoner spells to catch him with the flash from Meteos.
Here we go again. Impact this time should have the duelist advantage, but Seraph's kiting around pretty nicely. Impact, though, constantly applying slows. Impact just going to chase him down. Impact flashes in, but the flash out from under the tornado is going to get Seraph out to safety. Meteos, in the meantime, takes down the dragon. Is Lod trying to find a couple with the ultimate, but no such luck as Smoothie slinks away with barely any health left.
Yeah, it looked like Procxin wanted to hit Smoothie and kill him, but it ended up just knocking him away and behind some of his members there. But now, mid lane advantage, and they can start pushing this up if they want to on EnVy's side.
This is just so frustrating for Seraph. He's got no ultimate now. Impact gonna look to keep chasing his way in. Seraph gonna try and use Fog of War, and he does juke himself out to safety.
He wants to try and slow him down before he gets back to his turret so that Ninja can catch up.
You guys ready for another 1v2? Because I think that's what Impact needs to get out of it. Windwall's the time winder. Here's 1v3 now, and there's a fourth coming with Hakuho. Impact, can he magic his way out of this one? Dashes out from under the power like convergence. Looks for Ninja, but gets knocked back by Procxin. Knock up, not enough to channel last breath.
So close to actually getting a kill onto Ninja there, but it was the body slam from Procxin that interrupted it. Ninja's back in a weird place.
Window shopping, Ninja in trouble. Tagged him by the slow. No, he does flash out from under it.
Sneaky almost has arrow. It's very close to coming up.
Time to snipe him.
It's up in 5 seconds.
Sneaky's got it. Is he gonna look for it?
One.
Does fire it, hits Seraph. Ninja escapes this time. Blue buff gonna go over to him as well. EnVy doing a much better job playing up with Cloud9's pressure.
Yeah, and EnVy, no, they were a playoff team, and they did take a game off of Cloud9, and Cloud9 are not getting these gigantic early game advantages, but they have better wave manipulation. We saw Impact get a turret in the top lane when the first turrets were going down, so Cloud9 got 2 for 1 there, and they might even get this last outer turret just off of the pressure that Jensen has in this lane, and the fact that EnVy are always allocating a little bit more than they have to try and take people down.
Well, I kind of knew what happened last time when they didn't, so I can understand the sentiment, but...
Yeah, it is safe to go with a buddy. Take another buddy.
Yep, it was not safe enough last time, because Cloud9 not quite able to get this turret. Hakuho a little wide on the binding. Actually, Sneaky got caught, never mind. Nailed it.
Yeah, had Braum in front of him though, so no chance of a cast back or anything like that. And now it's going to be that mid lane siege, and in terms of the siege game, EnVy have pretty decent poke, and there's no way for Cloud9 to heal it up unless it's on Jensen, who does have that Cassiopeia passive, and allows himself to get a little bit more off of poison targets.
The Impact does not have a lead this game. He's definitely on a champion where he can be a nuisance in a side lane and cause pressure, but he's not able to cleanly disrupt Seraph maybe as much as he could last time. I mean, he's split pushing down, he's getting the wave pushed back down towards that tier 2 in bottom lane. It does feel like Cloud9 have kind of the map lead more than anything else, even though they also hold the gold lead of only 2k. But EnVy, again, they're reacting well. They can just keep up with Cloud9 and find a good pick with, or just get some good poke down. Should be able to open up a lead for themselves in this game.
Yeah, and the fact that EnVy need to get that poke down is really good for them, but Cloud9 have 2 Ocean Drakes, which is really bad for EnVy, because that poke pattern, you want to poke, but then they're just going to sustain it up by backing off for a second.
Procxin going to take the Scuttle Crab down. We're much deeper into this game than we were in game number 1. Game is significantly closer than the first one. As Cloud9, kind of without those early advantages, are slowing the pace down. Log with 2 items as well is kind of ready to go as far as the fights go for EnVy. Looking for top lane turret maybe. Jensen still trying to work on this mid one.
Yeah, Procxin is on the other side of this. I believe they know he's there, but...
Ninja getting dove. Does ulti to protect himself from Meteos, but mid tower's going to fall as a result. EnVy going to group up 3-man strong here and try and take out this top turret,
they
but
can't.
Yeah, Sneaky's already there with Smoothie.
Yeah, and that's just the rotation from Cloud9 is they know because, or EnVy knows because Cloud9 just got that middle tier 1 that if they end up
I want to caught.
turret.
Good ult from Seraph. It's the Dragon Ball Z we love. Impact gonna keep moving back in for it, but the proc from the passive's enough to escape. Impact just can't chase, and this is how tight this matchup can be 1v1.
It's very close, and then it's, if you really want to dedicate to it, everybody's pretty low. What happens if he lands the knock-up, then you lose. If he doesn't, then you still may lose as Ekko. So yeah, it's a very big toss-up there. You just had to outplay. He didn't trust himself to do it.
These are much tankier champions as well. Back when I saw this, it was full damage.
Back in my day.
It was even more fun.
That's right, it was full damage AP Ekko and AD Yasuo or attack speed Yasuo crit. And it's basically whoever lands their stun or their CC kind of wins that matchup. So it's all about dodging around each other.
Well, still definitely a lot to play there in the 1v1, but Seraph standing his ground this time. Impact with a CS lead, but that's about it. And he is getting tankier. He will be able to team fight with his build as well, which is kind of the cool thing about it. But so will Seraph. He's built effectively tank Ekko here with the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah, he needs to get a little bit more magic resistance, which isn't going to help him against Impact. But he needs it for the Cassiopeia, because if he shows up to these team fights, Seraph will just get obliterated by this late game damage carry from the mid lane.
You can see the respect shown by Lod there. Was top lane farming, saw Impact, immediately backs off the wave, and lets Seraph tend to it instead. And Envy, kind of despite having obvious points of power to play with, haven't quite converted into some other objectives. Cloud9 doing a nice job again, holding onto the territory that they do own. And Envy, despite all their poke and siege, haven't found a way in to try and get something done here. Cloud9 continuing to sort of get slowly ahead rather than quickly ahead as they did in the first game, but that does mean the game is much more precarious. And we have some big swings in maybe a team fight as we do approach 25.5 minutes actually.
Yeah, and the third Ocean Drake for Cloud9. So 3 Ocean Drakes, it's kind of a death sentence for poke compositions. You can't really deal with that.
Braum is also really ruining everybody's day. As Lod fires a couple shots in the Smoothie.
He's taking a decent amount of damage now.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to chunk out somebody before this Drake comes up. And we really want to contest this because you want to make it so that you have at least one of those Drakes for your mana pools when you're sieging.
Well, looks like top lane's a bit busy on the minimap.
Yeah,
so
Sneaky also got chunked out too. This is going to be really close for Cloud9, but hold on, top side of that.
I think this will have to be a 4v4. Seraph got low, so I don't think he can teleport safely. If they're going to keep applying pressure, Jensen actually gets tagged, cleanses out of the way, flashes himself to safety as well. And now the teleports come in smoothly with initiation as Hakuho is going to go down. Lod tagged there as well. Seraph joins, but he's awfully low. Impact going to look to put up the win wall and zone them off the rest of the Drake, but now Seraph going to get kited back. Ultis his way to safety. Ninja caught up by the last breath now as Impact going to dive in. Meteos gets one off to Lod. Impact goes crazy in the backlines, gets a double. He'll finally go down to Ekko, but Cloud9 clean house for the ace.
And Cloud9 are going to pick up the Drake on top of it, and they are pinging onto Baron at 26 minutes with an ace and only losing one member.
And that's the thing, we talked about the game being close. The issue there is that when something goes wrong in a game like this, it tends to go horribly wrong, and all of a sudden, Cloud9 go from 2,000 to 3,000 gold ahead, to 5,000 gold ahead, to a Baron and more.
Yep, it's going to be cresting that 8,000 gold mark very shortly. But yeah, no contest here, no ability to even show yourself near that Baron, and it's that 6,000 gold lead. Well, Cloud9, I mean, they are trying to look to take care of business in the Gauntlet to get to tomorrow.
Certainly
Hits Jensen. Jensen holds on to his cleanse until all 3 CCs hit him. He got hit by everything, cleanses, flashes. Then the knockup from Smoothie comes through across everybody. Then he gets out, and this from Impact throws out the Q. Hits Ninja, gets out of the stun from Impact, and that was big. The backline access from Yasuo, sometimes hard to come by. Not being able to actually eat through everybody is like, it's kind of a luxury when you're able to do it, but getting the last breath straight onto that carry that you need to take out is huge, because then you're too tanky for him to deal with. Too much pressure, too much damage just from crits and base damage that he's basically gone.
And that's the thing, unlike builds of old, you don't just jump in, blow someone up, and then get blown up if you have no more win walls left. You can stick in a fight a little longer, and that's exactly what Impact was able to do with some great help from Meteos in the backline as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like the tank build covers a weakness of Yasuo, but the same thing is true for Ekko, and hold on, Lod
is getting killed through the black shield. Sneaky able to get himself another as Cloud9 starting to open up this game.
Yeah, and it was Envy falling apart at the seams here, and Impact taking turret shots.
Let's keep going. Impact just does not care, although maybe he has to care a little more. Creep wave gonna move in. Seraph gonna take what he can, and try and move the wave back in, but Impact is just keeping Seraph busy. Here's
Meteos.
Meteos, parallel convergence down. Ulti's out of the way. Impact does land in with the last breath after the NATO, and Meteos going to land the knockup. They'll chase for the turret, and Seraph goes down.
And Seraph had already used his R to end up getting out of that, and that's going to be the mid lane push here as well for C9. Numbers advantage. Minion wave has to get cleared out there by the explosive cask, and now Meteos with this Baron buff up and Yasuo cutting the wave. That's going to be another turret for Cloud9.
Denied for a little bit by Procxin as he uses the ulti to get the rest of Cloud9 off the mid inhibitor turret, so that will stay safe for a little while longer. Impact and Meteos will push maybe a little further. Although Seraph is back in 20 seconds and the rest of EnVy are in position to defend. Jensen with no cleanse this time does get shielded up. Smoothie and Meteos group on top of him to keep him safe. And now Sneaky going to get covered. Great ult shot there as Varus changing with the CC as well. They will take him down as Lod's able to get the first one, but Impact in a blow-up. Hakuho in the top lane. Dustblade Procxin, but Impact jukes out from under the W. Last order is there for Ninja as no wind wall is going to save him this time.
And see if EnVy can capitalize on this with 4 members still up. Seraph is going to be pushing the bottom side of the map. He won't have teleport, but he needs to just shove this wave out. And it's pretty much wave control duty here for EnVy. They don't get too much out of that.
Well, they again have to play defense here as Cloud9 have opened up another big lead, albeit a lot later than it was in the first one. Game was almost over at this point, 30 minutes in, but we'll watch this again as EnVy do have a nice defense here.
Great binding, follow-up binding there as well. No cleanse for Jensen, and this is the change of targets. Hit Sneaky there, Chain of Corruption, hit Meteos, and it's spread. And then the flash in from Hakuho, but Vlad already picked up that kill. And Impact, yep. It's a double AD composition, but double armor penetration now for both of the carries. So you have to stack that armor up. You can see Meteos has the Thorn Mail. Nothing for...
Ooh, actually got Procxin with a long-range arrow. Ninja gonna get knocked up here, and here's Impact looking to clean up. There's one. Goes up Varus. There's two as Lord goes down. Impact collects a double. Did he flash? He did, yeah. He's actually chasing in onto Seraph. Stun there from, slow there from Smoothie. He's gonna get black shielded as Jensen. Now here with the cutoff, EnVy, what can they do? They're funneled in. Good ult there. It's actually going to keep Jensen mini-stunned against the wall, but now they're going to turn attention onto Seraph. Seraph just trying to save his team. Ulti's out of the way, and Impact's there to collect him on the other side.
Yep, and that's Seraph just trying to get his team a little bit further away, but I don't know if they needed it completely, and that's going to be C9 with the minion wave, with the inner track, being able to take down this turret and maybe even get more. That could be an inhibitor turret.
Well, they do. I think Baron buff has actually dropped off, excuse me. So they're going to have to do it without it, but plenty of power here with 3 members still dead for AMG. Impact going to put up the wall, just block off the rest of these siege. Oh, the counter siege. Hakuho knocked up. No follow in though, as that top lane inhib will fall down. Cloud9 bust open the base.
Yeah, and that wind wall you were talking about, how it stops that wave clear, it stops the siege as well, which is one of the things that, you know, it was last picked for against this EnVy composition, because they want to poke you down, and he's just saying, nope, that's not going to happen here, and able to save some members.
Beautiful compliment to the Braum as well. We saw the priority on that pick. Double wall comes pretty good against double AD.
Yeah, it's very true. But this is also something that's a kind of an augmentation to the Yasuo build, is the Wit's End. You see it sometimes, not usually against a double AD composition, but because it's going to give him a little bit more tankiness and durability against the split pusher against him in Seraph, and it'll shred his magic resistance, allow his E to do a little bit more damage.
Yep. Ooh, Jensen actually knocked back in. Procxin with a big play.
He hit Jensen.
Oh no! They split the difference. And Log gets nothing. Dustblade Prox actually not quite enough. And Impact with Meteos back to their old tricks again. Hakuho getting low down. Impact, huge knock up there as the Dustblade's going to proc in as well. Still going in. Flow procs in for a bit of extra shield, and that's a double in for Impact. Still kiting though, as Seraph now going to be the next target. Impact lives forever as Seraph knocked down again. Sneaky finally goes down actually as Lod's able to get it. Impact fell as well, and what a mess.
And Ninja's the only surviving member of EnVy right now. There are minions pushing into the top side of his base, and C9 have a minion wave in the middle. They're gonna start pushing for another inhibitor turret.
Yep, Jensen guiding the wave forward there as the rest of his team will rejoin him. Ninja walks all the way back to the fountain just to be extra specially safe. But this tower's gonna fall with just a stiff breeze. And C9 gonna move in to claim inhibitor number 2.
And they just have so much regen with these 3 Ocean Drakes that you can step away from the fight and come back in a few seconds later and you will be healthy and you'll be ready to go again. Mountain Drake on the table. I assume Cloud9 go for that before they back off. And Cloud9, hefty advantage now, cresting almost 13,000 gold. around the same time the last game was ended, they want to have that semifinal rematch against Immortals and say, you know what, that wasn't a fluke. 3-2, we can do it better.
And it's great to see the pace change from Cloud9, you know. Envy played way more consistently in this early game. We're going to watch this one again. Impact and Meteos just doing so much work in this backline.
And right there, Ninja just missed so much. Finally lands the R, but the follow-up Q goes towards Sneaky, ends up not killing Sneaky, and then the backline access from Impact with Meteos. The RekSai knockup setting up the last breath. And then Impact plays this so well. Staying behind Smoothie. Smoothie is basically hugging him at that point. And Impact steps away from the chrono break and then gets taken out there from behind. Didn't expect that arrow in his back. But I really like during that play where Hakuho got away from him, so he started charging up his Q on other members and then threw it through people to hit Hakuho on the other side. That last breath, third charge, is not easy to land. It's got a good cast time on it.
Certainly does. With Cloud9 looking for this Baron here. Blood going to open up. Wind wall's there. Smoothie actually going to deny the initial shots. With Unbreakables, Baron goes Cloud9's way. Now Envy, we're going to close it in, but Meteos actually found the flank. Hakuho about to get somebody. Black shields himself to safety. Meteos going to have his Guardian Angel pop as Jensen.
He's so far ahead.
He actually is too far forward, but he gets boosted into the team. Pops the ultimate for a bit of damage, but Envy might look to turn things around.
Yep, and Cloud9 just get out of there. They couldn't walk forward. Jensen went way too far up. Really eager to try and make a play there and just gets knocked into the team. He throws down the ultimate, but it's not the ultimate that he wants to have to use there.
Thought he was going to get a free ride into the back line. Did do so, but died instantly. Was not able to get a couple kills there. Lod going to move down, clear the wave here, and make sure this last inhibitor turret stays standing. Cloud9 still with plenty of a lead to play with. But Jensen dead for 20 more seconds after his mishap. Procxin's definitely been singling him out multiple times in his last few fights. And if Envy can start more fights that way, could be a window back into this game. We do know what the Envy comeback looks like.
Yeah, Envy, those late game team fights, you know, you can't completely count them out of these games.
Well, Cloud9 back on the offensive. Jensen revived and feeling a bit healthier. Another needlessly large rod for himself as well. So I imagine zones will come eventually in this build, but full damage from the Cassio, big damage for Sneaky here as well on his Ashe.
Yeah, it looks like Jensen might be going for the death cap right now. Cassiopeia, you end up getting the...
I thought he had one. He tricked me.
Nope. Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where you're like, you should probably have one by now. Ah, okay. I mean, he gets to have both, though. He gets to have his cake and eat it, too. No boots.
Yeah. Extra slot. Well, Cloud9 with Impact in the top lane. Will look to keep pushing their way in, and Hib's just about to respawn, so great timing here. His Impact all through the Guardian Angel finish means that kind of full build has been completed. Very frustrating to try and kill him, especially when he's rampaging through your backlines. And that Inhib's going to go down. Envy do not fancy a defense here.
Nope.
Gonna have to put it all on this bottom lane fight.
Gotta put it on that last turret they have on the outside. Not even gonna matter. And it goes down. Last inhibitor for Cloud9. Envy have to defend it.
I mean, they've pretty much got 1 point where they can pick a fight. Where do they go? They want to go now. Ultimate from Lod. Smoothie tanking majority of the shots. Gets stunned actually by Sneaky, I think, as Impact and Meteos up to it again. Impact flashes in. He wants Ninja and Lod very badly. Southbird's going to proc Impact eating damage, but there's a kill onto Seraph. Impact going to go down, but he gets his GA burnt. Sneaky flashes in to clean up the rest of the backline. Impact will revive here as Ninja and Procxin going to defend what they can, but Impact going to knock them back in. Procxin the only one left as he gets exhausted, and they're going to go in for the ace. There it is for Cloud9 as they'll claim the turret and this Nexus with a 2-0 lead.
And Cloud9 are one game away from having a rematch against Immortals.
We expected them to have a strong showing in the Gauntlet after their playoff performance. We know they're thinking about Immortals tomorrow, but they've got one game left. And the nicest thing for them will be to get to play them and have as much rest as possible. You said it, last time they got to play them, they got a week. They get a day, if that, to prepare for their match tomorrow, but they do need to still finish off the series. Envy, we'll see if they can run back the miracle, but Cloud9 looking just as strong as we thought they'd be, up 2-0.
Yeah, Cloud9 looked like they were possibly the second strongest team in North America, taking a game off of Team Solo Mid, who were undisputed champions there. And they almost took a second game. That game 4 of the finals was a lead for Cloud9 until the very, very end, where they were up about 5,000 gold, and then some team fights didn't go their way. Could have been a game 5, could have been maybe a deciding match for that. So Cloud9 are a team that look like they want to represent North America. They are hungry for it. They did some restructuring throughout the season beforehand where they brought on new members and they had that whole support back and forth, but their coaching staff has stepped up. They've gotten everybody together, and now Cloud9 looks like a force to be reckoned with.
Certainly do. Well, let's break down the series at the NLS desk before we reset things for game number 3.
Thank you once again, gentlemen. Game 2 going in favor of Cloud9. This one, though, a bit closer through those early stages of the game. Took a little bit longer for C9 to really break it open. Let's talk, though, first about Champion Select. With Envy having flopped to the blue side, they throw massive priority onto Jhin as a first pick. Probably the only team in the world that would be doing that right now.
It has been done before. I mean, I can respect it. The draft is somewhat sound. You're doing like double AD carry, range, pokey composition. It's not very meta, but at least the comp actually, you know what it's trying to do, as opposed to more of the Envy compositions that we see them run. But unfortunately, their only shining light was the dual lane with Jhin and Morgana being able to tear down the bot lane.
I think the draft was a little weird from C9. I thought they were going to prioritize the Ekko a lot higher, given that there were so many top lane bans. I guess since they have the Yasuo prepared, it's not that big of a deal. But the Braum RekSai first rotation seems a little weird because you know you're going against this Morgana player. You take
we
Braum
saw it
into
yesterday into Braum.
Well,
Exactly.
in particular, Morgana's always been a good matchup into
They could
Braum.
just grab Ekko.
Yeah, they can go RekSai Ekko and then save the Braum. They probably hold the Morgana pick anyways, but at least you're not just giving them the Morgana pick for free in the second rotation. You can try and force more stuff out of Envy. But aside for that, I mean, we saw the bot lane pressure, and
it all came down to the play anyway.
yeah. It was really just about C9 being a step ahead.
Well, yeah, but to Envy's credit, this was, like I said, a better early game. We saw the lanes going a little bit more even. You know, Impact wasn't dominating the top lane. That matchup was going relatively even. As well in the mid lane, Ninja farming up on that Varus. And then in the bot lane, in all honesty, Lord Hakuho with this Morgana pick showing a fair amount of prowess in the 2v2 specifically.
Yeah, they did great. I mean, they didn't get as many kills as they did yesterday in the dual lane matchup, but even though the action wasn't there in the early game, there was still a lot of advantages for Cloud9, particularly Meteos. He out-farmed Procxin so hard.
It was like 83 to
45
at
80
one
to something
point.
40, and Procxin just was lost the entire map. We saw him go towards bottom side, trying to 3-man push multiple times, which often led into just awful decisions, like going for that flash engage. And the one that really hurt me, I was so pissed off
you guys
with
should have
this,
seen this.
when they are
Walked out of the room.
they're pushing turrets, and you see Cloud9 pushing top and bottom. You know it's close, and they're about to get the first turret gold, and he walks away on the final hit on the turret, and Cloud9 gets the first, and like, why?
It's like walking away from a kill.
Why?
There's like a 1 HP
And it's
dude,
not
and you're
even
like,
a
I
kill.
don't want that.
It's worse than a kill, because now the other team gets the gold.
Right, yeah, it's even worse.
Yeah, what would have been 400 gold in your pockets is 400 gold to them, so an essentially 800 gold swing, right?
Couldn't- I couldn't handle
what
it. I
it
couldn't
could
handle
have
that.
been. But it's a very strange situation. We saw yesterday, if we had to pick out an underperformer from Envy yesterday, probably also Procxin. So something not working for him, at least as of right now in this Gauntlet.
Right, I think just the whole strategical level of play around the first 10 minutes wasn't quite up to par. Envy had so much pressure bottom. They kept trying to push the turret down, but it wasn't like super coordinated. And then the one time that they really get sneaky low and they can probably just take the turret, they go for the dive, which just gets turned around because he still has flash heal. And then C9, instead of swapping lanes, which you'll see a team like CLG do to get out of a bad lane matchup, they just opt to keep going bottom, and they kept getting pushed in. It just seemed weird to not just break open the lanes and free up the map.
And although it was a slow start, you mentioned that some advantages were picked up by Cloud9. That including those Ocean Drakes, right? We saw 2 Ocean Drakes go into their side very early on, and then of course at 26:30, that's when Envy decides to pick a fight back around this Ocean Drake. Cloud9 gonna win this one out and turn it into a Baron on the other
And
side.
right here, Jensen holds on to everything, onto his plans for the final moment, and the TP is going to come in from Impact, and that's going to be the big one for this, because he's going to go right away, right into this fight. He's charging up his Q, and as soon as he gets the proc off, it's going to be able to actually connect all the way with Ninja right here, and this just allows them to perfectly time it onto him. The nice little Braum Q hits onto him as well, and Cloud9 is going to be able to just almost perfectly ace him for a Baron.
Yeah, that was really well played by the frontliners for C9. Meteos was soloing out Lod while you had Ninja getting messed up by Impact.
Right.
And both of them were just making so much trouble for the backline of Envy. It was pretty easy to play the Ashe and the other characters in that fight.
You know, this gold graph and the gold graph from the other game, both times, all Cloud9's color, right? Last game, at no point was Envy ever in the lead. This game as well, it appears Envy was never in the driver's seat. But that third Ocean Drake plus the Baron that they picked up matchup there was really what cracked the game open and allowed C9 to break
Ocean
the base.
Drake is absolutely massive against Varus and Jhin. One dragon and a laning phase that would be pretty good for the Varus. Getting that poke in is no longer a winning match because Cassiopeia just waits behind, heals up, then heals up on the creep wave once again, making it so much tougher to actually execute the game plan of, hey, let's group up middle and try to siege on this.
On C9 side, though, I do think it's a little worrisome that they keep losing these fights with Baron or when they have 10K gold leads.
I think they just get cocky.
That's part of it, but like they had the problem against TSM where they lost like that one team fight that you think they're about to win, and it does seem like C9 might be a step behind team fighting some of the other teams because if you're looking forward maybe to tomorrow a little bit, assuming they can close this series out, it does seem like this team fighting is not clean, and I'd really like to see them just stomp Game 3 and show really strong team fighting.
I think you're right with encapsulating it all for team fighting and not a specific aspect of it, because in the finals, the problem was overcommitting with the fight. Now it's understanding, hey, you got to play it a little bit cooler when you're this far ahead. So there's definitely a lot more to just one specific aspect on their fighting.
Right.
All right, but it's not over till it's over. Of course, Game 3, C9 is flipping back to the blue side as they get side choice. My question to you, though, is backs against the wall. EnVy's got to win 3 straight here, but they got to start with just winning Game 3 and extending to Game 4. So I'm putting you guys on the spot. I'm going to ask you how they do it, if they do it at all.
Backs against the wall, you get your shovels out and you dig yourself out of there.
You try and find a way out.
Yeah, there's no, you run out of there.
Does this wall like fall down? Can we go
Right,
somewhere
is this
else?
a faux wall? Where else can we go? I mean, is it all in Champion Select and coming up with
No,
some...
that's the thing. It's not in the Champions League. It's in the play itself. You have stronger lanes out of Cloud9. Honestly, if you get rid of Morgana or maybe the Jhin, they're not going to have a winning matchup. Bottom, mid lane's not able to do anything, and the jungle matchup's losing. The macro plays worse. The team fighting's worse. Like, there's really nothing that you can grab on here and say, hey, here's how we win.
I think if anything, if they can get another good bot lane matchup and maybe Procxin plays his role better where he's not down a ton of CS and is pressuring at the appropriate times, maybe they have a chance, but it's still such a stretch because C9 is outclassing them.
Yeah, very much so. All right, well, there you have it from these guys. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Day 2 of the North American LCS Regional Qualifier continues live from LA in just 3.5 minutes.
Good vibes in the chat.
Goodbye in the chat.
Good vibes.
Vibe in the chat.
As EnVy's dueling doesn't have enough health, another binding Smoothie, get the door up, and he's been ignited, that should be enough for a kill. But now Seraph gonna get kited back, holds his way to safety. Ninja caught up by the last breath now as Impact gonna dive in. Meteos gets one off so long, Impact goes crazy in the backline.
I got you. Oh. I'm move. Hey,
I'm coming in.
I'm really fucking low. I'm 1 out. No, it's okay. I'm legit 1 out. I'm so strong. I'm healed now. I'm here. Here's 4. Jhin's 1 HP. Oh, nice.
And Cloud9 are 1 game away from having a rematch against Immortals.